What if I told you there are YouTube channels with no filming, no camera, and no production team, making tens of thousands of dollars every single month? In this free course, I'm going to show you exactly how faceless YouTube channels make money and how you can start one in 2026. My name is Razvan Paraschiv. I've been running faceless YouTube channels for over 5 years now, generating millions of subscribers and millions of dollars with this business model. And right now, this is the biggest opportunity YouTube has had in years for two simple reasons. Number one, YouTube is paying creator more money than ever. And number two, AI tools make content creation easier than ever. So if you're serious about building a faceless YouTube channel that actually makes money, let's begin. Module 1, the faceless channel opportunity. First, let's understand what faceless YouTube channels are, why they have exploded in popularity, and how they actually generate income. So by nature, a faceless YouTube channel is just a normal YouTube channel, but there is no face on camera like I am right now. Instead, these channels are using voiceovers, narrations, visuals, stock footage, animations, graphics, basically everything to create a production without a center person. Obviously, a big part of faceless YouTube channels, or YouTube automation as this business model it's also called, it's the video editing, right? You have the editor who's putting together all sorts of different editing style, whether it be screenshots, whether it be animations, whether it be graphics, and it's putting them together into a production, which we call the video. And not only that these channels are faceless, but most of the times nobody knows who is actually behind them. And if you're new to this business model and you're thinking, how could this possibly work? Why would someone watch the videos? It's very simple. People are watching these videos for either entertainment, so they want to see the jokes, they want to see something funny, or more times it's for education. They want to see a documentary, they want to see a list of top 10 cars, top 10 houses, etc. And it doesn't really matter who is presenting the list, right? Think about the old school TV model. Yes, you do care a little bit about the presenter of the weather or something, but in reality, you are just there because you want to see the weather, or you are there because you want to see this specific type of news, and the host adds value to it, but it's not the centerpiece. With faceless channels, you can definitely have a host that is more advanced, so we're going to talk about that later, but by default, people are there for information, they watch the video, they get it, and everybody's happy. And the good thing about this, if you think about it, is that if you are a busy professional, if you work a full-time job and you are looking for a way to make money online, yes, you can become a YouTuber and yes, you can make money like that, but obviously you have a lot of barriers. You have to develop a new skill, you have to invest in camera equipment, microphones, lights, all this crazy setup. But on the contrary, with faceless YouTube channels, you don't need to do any of that stuff. The barrier is so much lower to entry because you don't need a camera, you don't need camera confidence, you don't need equipment, you don't need all of these things that are required, so to say, to become a YouTuber. And of course, you don't need to film anything yourself, and you can stay completely anonymous. I've had dozens of clients who say, Raz, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be part of the community, but I don't want people to know that I'm doing this. Or maybe their job is preventing them to be on camera. Their job is preventing them to be a public person. So then this is a very easy and very lucrative, I would say, solution. On top of this, because you are not dependent on the host, right? You are not dependent on a person appearing in front of the camera. Maybe they're sick, maybe they're busy, maybe they don't have the right energy, maybe they talk very slow, or they're very boring, or they talk very fast and you cannot understand what they're speaking. With faceless YouTube channels and with YouTube automation, you don't have any of that. So that means you can treat it even more like a business, and the production can be systematized and outsourced. I don't create the content on any of my faceless YouTube channels whatsoever, and we've made millions of dollars with this business model. And so obviously, as you can imagine, as soon as you get your faceless channel in place, you are not limited by your own time, by you having to go to the studio or record and getting a videographer or a teleprompter operator behind the camera. None of those things are relevant, so none of those things can be bottlenecks. It's just you most times with a laptop and freelancers or even AI nowadays, and you can make this content much, much faster. Now that you understand the basics, let's talk about making money, right? How are these channels making money? Well, as you probably know, there is something called the YouTube Partner Program, which is a Google AdSense program for which you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to qualify. Once you are in the program, you are going to be paid for the advertisements that are shown on your videos. And the most relevant metric, I would say here, it's something that we call the RPM, which means the revenue per mille, or how much money YouTube actually pays you for every 1,000 views. that is the main source of income for 80 to 90% of faceless channels, I would say, and YouTube has actually paid out over $100 billion in AdSense revenue alone over the last couple of years, so this is no small deal. Now, one thing that is very important for you to know right here is that your RPM can vary. We've definitely seen the RPM increase over the last couple of years. When I started 5 years ago, you would see RPMs as low as $1, $2, etc. I would say in the last 5 years, we have maybe doubled, where today, the average RPM of an average channel, it's $5, $6, maybe even $7 sometimes, but it can obviously still be much lower and it can still be much higher. So what is creating this volatility? Well, it's very simple actually. It's the audience. It's the people who are watching the videos that are dictating the RPM, meaning how much advertisers want to pay to get in front of that audience. To put it like this, a very easy example, if you want to reach 20-year-olds in Romania, for example, advertisers are paying way less than if you want to reach 40-year-olds on Wall Street, right? Why? Well, those people have a higher buying power, maybe there's fewer of them, there's a bunch of factors that go into it, but it's just how advertisers are paying Google AdSense, and then from there it's just math, and then you're gonna get your RPM. Now, to give you some examples, I'm just gonna put a number of niches on the screen right now, and you're gonna see for each of them the RPM. Right? Because it's very important to know that later when we're going to talk about the niche, that how you're going to get paid, it's going to vary depending on which niche you go to, which audience are you able to attract. So positioning is going to become very important. But regardless of all of that, something that is one beauty or like one great thing about this business model is that once you post a video, it's gonna create recurring income for a lifetime. It's like planting a seed. As soon as you get a video out there and the video is in the YouTube's algorithm, it will get views in the first day, it'll get in the first week, in the first month, in the first year, and for many, many years to come. I have videos of mine that are still making me $30 to $40 per day 1 year after they've been posted, and this creates a very nice, effective passive income, so to say. Now, to go one level further, this whole flywheel of posting videos and getting paid with AdSense without having to get clients, without having to deliver a product, the product is the video basically, creates the opportunity for turning YouTube from a hobby into an actual scalable business, right? This is what I'm focused on, and this is what all my clients in our community are focused on. We don't do this as a side hustle on the side, whatever, because we like the content. No, we do this because it's a very lucrative way to make money online from the comfort of your home or anywhere in the world. Instead of just having, okay, I have this channel, Razvan Paraschiv, and that's my name, that's my channel. You can have multiple brands, multiple channels that are making money for you at the same time because you can scale your production levels. So I highly encourage you guys to think about this as a business model and operate it as a business, not just a viral hobby. It was like something that you do on the weekends, because that's when everything shifted for me and I started to make real money, when I started applying real business principles. And by the way, if you'd like me to help you one-on-one start and scale a faceless YouTube channel business that makes money, book a call using the link in the description and let's talk. But now that you understand the opportunity and how to make money, the next step is to choose where to compete, because your niche determines how fast you grow and how much money you earn. Module number 2 is about choosing the right niche, because not all YouTube niches offer the same growth and income potential. So the first reason you want to spend time on choosing your niche in the first place is that it's going to influence massively how fast your channel grows and how much money you can actually make. Not to mention what we just covered earlier, that some niches are going to attract higher advertising demand than others. So you can not only make money faster, but you can also make more money in some niches. And I have this quote that I've been telling the clients in my community for the longest time, and I think I'm quoting Warren Buffett, that it's not important how hard you row, but what boat you're in. And I have the perfect example that I'm going to put right now on screen. So this was a portfolio channel of mine about football. And you can see for about 1 million views, we got paid $3,000. Now you would say that's not too shabby. That's pretty good for a channel in a single month. That's great, right? Well, yes, it is definitely not too shabby and it's definitely good income. But let's take a look at another channel, this one called Vintage Vehicles, because we also had 1 month where we got just a little bit more than 1 million views. But compared to the football channel, where we only got paid $3,000, here we got paid $17,000, so almost 6 times more for the same amount of views. Now, there's a bunch of reasons that go into that, but if I were to recommend you 2 things to look out for, is just to keep in mind that crowded niches make it very difficult for channels to stand out, and football in this case was a crowded niche, and I would say still is, right? So if you want to compete, you wouldn't want to get in ring with Mike Tyson, or you wouldn't want to fight where everybody is already fighting, because I think on the contrary, overlooked niches or underserved niches allow smaller channels to go faster, right? You can learn faster, you can play more, you can iterate more, you can iterate for cheaper maybe, and then once you're good, you can definitely expand. One of my students, Javon, for example, has a channel talk about wines, right? Only wines. We won't reveal the exact channel for his privacy, but I can tell you that he made over $10,000 in just 60 days with his channel focusing on wines. Now, you probably wouldn't have thought that a wine channel can make $10,000 in 60 days, and to be honest, neither have I. I did not know this niche existed until we started working together. He told us what he was passionate about, and then we did the research and say, hey, we think there's actually an opportunity here. And at the end of the day, I think that the most profitable niches combine audience demand, meaning there are a lot of people, you have a large enough TAM that people want to see this content, but you also get paid fairly well when people start watching it. Now, a mistake that I see far too often is that beginners often choose their niches based on passion, based on what they're interested in. Instead, what you want to start with is you want to start monetization potential. Is this going to be profitable? Can you make money in this niche? And then once the answer is yes, then you can ask yourself, okay, well, will I enjoy doing this, right? So my recommendation is follow the money and ask yourself if you're passionate after. Because something that I said to my clients, and it's always true, is as you start seeing the money coming in, as you start making $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 per month, you're gonna instantly become more passionate about the subject because you're gonna pay more attention. And if you haven't picked something that you completely hate, you're just gonna become more and more interested, and you're gonna research it more, and you're just gonna like it more. Then once you understand why the niche choice matters, the real opportunity comes from the videos themselves. So let's talk about that. Module number 3, finding video ideas that make money. Module 3 is about finding video ideas that consistently attract clicks, views, and dollars. This is probably the biggest topic of discussion, and I could make videos for hours and hours and hours, and I have in my community, but obviously, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna give you the lay of the land, and I'm gonna tell you my favorite method and the best method from that I've learned from 5 years of doing this, looking at the biggest YouTubers, and I think everybody is doing this, and I like to call this the outlier method. So let's take a look at vintage vehicles. Let's use this channel as an example, which, by the way, I started about 2 years ago, and I took it from $0 to $17,000 per month in 8 months. So this channel was a mega success. Now, the way I came up with the videos was to look at outliers, and to using it as an example, what you want to do is you want to go to a videos page, ideally a competitor of yours, and then you want to see that on average, okay, they're getting, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 views per video. But every once in a while, every channel that is constantly posting, that is actively in the game, will have an outlier. They will have a video that gets 50,000 views, 100,000 views, or a million views. And those are the videos that you want to emulate. Right now, obviously, you don't want to copy them. You just want to do the same video that they did. For example, inside Jay Leno's motorcycle collection, you don't want to take that video and make the same one, but you want to replace one variable. Instead of motorcycles, maybe you can look into his other collections. Instead of Jay Leno, you can talk about another person. And this is how the best ideas are found. What you need to do, especially if you want to make money with Faceless YouTube channels, is you just need to find what are the outliers, where is the money already, where are the views already happening, and then you want to take that and you add the twist. It's very important here. Do not just take people's videos, do not download people's videos or simply copy them, because that's just not going to work. You are not going to get views and you're not going to make money. But instead, if you use them as research and as inspiration, and then you maybe combine 2 of them or 3 of them together, and you do something that's slightly different, that has a different angle, then that is how you want to go about finding video ideas that get views and make money. And to go one level deeper on video ideas, because this is very important, the next level would be to start identifying patterns, right? You probably know by now that pattern recognition is very important in life and in business, but it also is when it comes to Faceless YouTube channels. And to give you the perfect example, let's stick with vintage vehicles, let's say, you will see that I have this car collection video again and again and again for different people. The reason why is because I tested it once, I saw it worked, and then I modeled and I made another one and another one and another one. And then I saw, okay, this is a winning format. I know that if I'm using this video format, this type of video, if you want to call it like that, I have a high chance, I have a high probability that it's gonna work. And it's not only about bike collection, it can also be about trucks, it can also be about motorcycles, it could also be about RVs. I've done this multiple times, which has led to a bunch of winning formats, a bunch of winning videos, a bunch of views, and ultimately what allowed this channel to make over $100,000 in 12 months. And one more tip that I have for you here is you want to create what I call an idea bank, right? Usually, I used to batch my video idea finding or like my idea research every single week to stay ahead, and you need to do that. I think this is going to help you stay ahead of the schedule and make sure you are consistent, which is ultimately very important. But what you want to do with the idea bank is you want to start batching ideas. You want to start seeing them and just storing them, whether you are using Trello, Asana, Notion, any project management. It can even be Google Spreadsheets or Google Docs. Just start putting good ideas that you see over time, and then eventually you will train your eye and you'll train your mind to see better formats, to see more ideas. And if you do this every single week, even for a couple of hours, trust me, in a couple of months, you're going to get very good at this. And after you have strong video ideas, the next step is turning them into professional quality videos without ever filming yourself. So module number 4, creating videos without showing your face on camera. So for the longest time ever, the production workflow for a Faceless YouTube channel or a YouTube automation channel was very simple. Number 1, you needed a scriptwriter, somebody to research and put your words together on a page so that becomes the script of a video. Number 2, you need a voiceover actor doing something very similar to what I'm doing right now, where they just have a mic and they usually have a very good voice, Native American or Native British, depending on which audience you want to attract. And then this person would simply take the script and just read it out loud, right? That would be number 2. Number 3, you would have a video editor who would take the script, would take the voiceover, and then would do his own research for transitions, music, screenshots, various different clips across the internet, and just glue them together into what now becomes your video. On top of this, you also needed a graphic designer at its core, but actually there's a bunch of people who have specialized now, so they are called thumbnail designers, to just create the thumbnail of your video or the cover of your video. And this is usually happening at any point in a process, because unlike the script that needs to go first, the voice which you need to do the edit, which are chronological steps, the thumbnail can be done at any point in the process. So this is the traditional way, and those are all the steps that I still recommend to this day that you have in creating Faceless videos that make money for the long term. Now, the reason why I said that this is the old way or the traditional way is because now we obviously have artificial intelligence, and this has been a game changer. So what I've seen is that with AI, people are usually splitting their setup into 2, and this is the same exact thing that I do and that my clients do as well. So number 1, for the scripts, AI can research and write scripts usually faster and far more cheaper than a traditional scriptwriter can. So most people are using tools like Claude, Subscriber, or Poppy AI to write their scripts. And similar for their voiceovers, here this wasn't necessarily hard, because once you have the voice and you buy a microphone, this is very fast. But just having to deal with a person who may be across the globe, who maybe gets sick, his voice goes up and down, etc. 11 Labs has completely replaced this, and 90% of the channels that I know are now using AI and are using 11 Labs to get their voiceovers done. So 50% of the content creation process has been replaced by AI. Now, we highly recommend you still use a video editor unless you're a video editor yourself or you want to become one, which obviously if you're a busy professional, if you have a full-time job, I would say that's definitely not the best use of your time. You still go on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr.com and you can get someone to edit your videos for $50, $60, or $70, depending how long they are, and you're going to be able to take care of this step entirely. Now, are they going to be using AI? Most likely. Are they going to generate some footage with AI? Most likely, but there's just part of their workflow and it's still very tedious, and I think video editors are still very, very good and very needed. And then the last step, the thumbnail design, can really go both ways. I see people who are only using Nano Banana and other generative AI models to generate images and then maybe put some text in Canva and are able to create thumbnails that way. I personally still like to use thumbnail designers because it still takes time to generate all the images, to then go in Canva, to put a text, to create multiple things. It still takes a little bit of time. And also, please keep in mind that when it comes to thumbnail design, it's not about creating something beautiful that was like, wow, this is so aesthetic. No, it's about knowing what works. What do people want to click on and what do they not want to click on? And in my opinion, that's where you're still paying a thumbnail designer for, not just to kind of do the designs and put them together. And not only with thumbnails, but in general, with Faceless YouTube content, guys, clarity and pacing matters more than expensive visuals. So I think it's shifting more and more towards the information, the character, the wittiness, the angle that the facts are presented, and not so much about like, oh my God, this is explosive editing. So if you want to grow faster and scale, the next step is building systems so you're not doing everything yourself. Once again, this is a massive topic that I've talked about multiple times on the channel, so I'm just going to try to give you the best stuff, right? The most condensed version that I can in this free course. The biggest system here, or the biggest leverage that you're going to have with this business model, apart from the fact that it's already content and that you have the distribution, YouTube is pushing this for free, is going to come from hiring other people, right? And more importantly, as we kind of said, if you want to go with a hybrid model, hiring video editors. But if you don't want to use AI, and if you say, okay, Raz, this is great, but I don't have time to use the tools, I still want to pay someone else, which is what I do for my channels that then in turn uses AI, the best place to go and find these people has been Upwork.com. And I'm not affiliated with them. I don't have any discount codes or anything like that. It's just that I've seen they have the biggest pool of talent and that people are usually qualified and also at reasonable prices, because there are other marketplaces out there where you can find great quality content, but they might charge you $500 or $1,000 to just edit your video, and then you're just not going to be able to get the unit economics to work. Now, when you go on Upwork or maybe even Fiverr, let's say, what you want to do is you want to play a volumes game. So I see a lot of people say, Raz, I made a job posting, I got 10 people, I couldn't find an editor. And I'm like, well, what you need to do is you need to post 5 or 10 job postings, talk to 100 people, and I can guarantee you that you will find a good candidate at the right cost, right? And the way I like to think about this, I like to create 2 types of job postings. Number 1, I like to create very broad job postings, like video editor for Faceless YouTube channel, and then you explain what your niche is and what exactly it is that you're doing in a description, and this is going to attract a bunch of people. And then the second type of job posting that I like to do is more niche, where you say vintage vehicles video editor or thumbnail designer for a American nostalgia channel, that is going to attract way fewer people, but they might be more qualified because they might self-select themselves and say, oh, I worked on an American channel, or like I worked on a nostalgia channel, I'm just going to apply because this is very similar to my last job, right? So you need to use a combination of both with volume. You need to post a lot of them to talk to a bunch of people so you can hire the right one. And just keep in mind that the benefit of hiring those people is not just buying back your time, right? It's not just about, it's like, well, I could do this myself, it could take me 10 hours, so I'm just paying for somebody else's 10 hours. But what I've seen most of the times, guys, unless you are a freelancer or unless you come from the media space, these people are better than us, right? These people know what they're doing. They've been doing it for longer. And in our community, we've probably hired thousands of freelancers that now have expanded and have specialized in different verticals, different niches, etc. It's just very hard to do all of this by yourself, especially again, if you are a busy professional and you work a full-time job. But not only that, this also allows scaling output, right? Because maybe you can make a video a week, maybe you can make 2 videos a week. But for most people out there, I recommend starting with at least 3 videos. And as soon as you see signs of success, as soon as you start getting monetized, as soon as you start making $10, $20, $30 per day, I highly recommend you scale the output to 4 videos, 5 videos per week. And at that point, unless you do this full time, you are going to need to hire someone. So might as well do it from the beginning so you set the foundation and you're ready to scale when the moment comes. And of course, this applies to starting multiple channels as well, because once you have the proof of concept, you can just replicate it from another channel and another channel. And to give you an example here, I had this channel that I showed you earlier called Vintage Vehicles, where he talked about vintage cars. Then my partner started a very similar channel called America Grows, where we did very similar topics, very similar video formats, if you remember. But this one was about gardening, right? This one also worked, made over $40,000 in just a couple of months. And now we also have this other channel called Britain's Best, where we are taking very similar topics that we did for Americans, but they are now targeted towards the British population, towards the UK. And all of these channels were following the same systems, the same playbook that I'm giving you guys in this course. And look, I know this sounds like a lot, and this is probably where most people are gonna get stuck. So if you're a busy professional right now, working a full-time job, and you've never hired people online before, let alone manage them, this can seem tricky. But it's not as hard as it might seem, and we've already helped thousands of people hire thousands more in my coaching program, and we would love to do the same for you. So if you need to learn how to outsource the work and scale your channel, or just wanna start and want someone to help you from A to Z, check the first link in the description, and we can talk about working together one-on-one on building your own Faceless YouTube channel. Now, when your videos are finally ready, packaging them correctly determines whether people actually click. Module number 6, packaging and optimization. Module 6 explains how to package your videos in order to get views and make money. So when it comes to packaging, there are 2 very important things that you know. Number 1, thumbnails, and number 2, titles, and in the exact order. Because I see a lot of people who say, yeah, Raz, I have great titles, I do my titles, and then I just make some thumbnails afterwards. It's like, well, it's actually the complete opposite, because everybody, when watching a YouTube video, or everybody when deciding what video to click on, they first see the thumbnail, right? They first see the image, and the image decides, am I interested? Am I even gonna read the title of this video? And then if the title confirms the thumbnail, if the title is actually what we thought it's gonna be and what we're looking for, then people are gonna click. So thumbnails are very, very important. When I prepare my videos, when I do the research for my videos, I set and I give my freelancers instructions from the beginning. It's like, hey, I want the thumbnail to be like this, like that. And those instructions go out at the same time with the script instructions and the editing instructions, not after. Because this is a huge mistake that I made in my beginning stages. I would make the video, I would think about it, the idea, the title, and then I was about to upload it and I was like, oh, I don't have a thumbnail. So let me just create something quickly in Canva and just slap it out there. If you start posting and you're happy with your video quality, but you're not really happy with the results, with what you're getting, the first aspect I highly recommend you guys look at is your packaging. And the way you measure this is something called CTR, right? Click-through rate. You want to see what is the click-through rate. Now, I don't want to give you a golden number, like say 5%, 10%, etc., because it's very dependent on, you guessed it, the niche and the audience. Different audiences click on thumbnails and click on videos differently, more or less than others. But as a general rule of thumb, I would say you definitely want to be anywhere from 4 to 7. 4 to 7, I would say it's a good range for thumbnails. If your thumbnails are in this range, or maybe 3.5 to 7, then you're probably okay. But it's very important that you somehow get access to other data, or you somehow know what other people are doing, which is where community becomes very important, being surrounded by like-minded people who are doing the same things as you, because you can cross-check and you can see their data. It's very important that you know, it's like, okay, well, I have a 4% CTR, Raz, but how do I know this is good or bad? Well, it's only good or bad by comparison. How much are your competitors getting? Are they getting 6? Then your 4, it's pretty bad. But if everybody's getting 3 to 4, then you are very good, right? So measuring it like that, it's very important. And then over a long period of time, you're also gonna see, if you're always getting 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 3 to 4, you're probably never gonna hit 8, right? Consistently. But if you're seeing 4, then you're seeing a 6 and a 7 and then a 3, then we don't really know what the data is telling us. So then we need to narrow it down, isolate that, and make packaging improvements, because I've seen that title and thumbnail improvements can lead to more views than making the video editing better, or even the script better sometimes. And this makes sense, right? Even in real life, when you go to the grocery store and you go down the aisle, you first see the packaging, right? You first see the exterior of the product. And if you don't like it, or if it's not saying, or if it's not what you're looking for, you're never gonna actually get to experience the product. So it's the same with the packaging and the script and the video editing. And now I don't want you guys to think that this is a very complex thing, right? Thumbnails can be made in Canva. I have dozens of clients who are making their thumbnails themselves and are making them $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 per month. As a general rule, just keep this in mind. If you only take one takeaway from this video about thumbnails, is that you need to use the 3 elements rule, right? You never really want to have more than 3 elements, especially as the beginning. So you want to have, let's just say, a character or some sort of person or some sort of object that is in the middle. You obviously are going to have the background, and then you're going to have some text, right? Do not make them crowded. Do not put everything that you can in there. Make sure that you only have 3 elements, and you should be good as long as you actually do research, put the time, or hire somebody who has been there and done that before. Finally, let's talk about when income actually begins and how it scales over time. Module number 7, monetization. So module 7 is all about monetization, which is why you are probably watching this video to begin with. So the quick review is that we make videos, we upload them to YouTube. YouTube is going to place ads automatically. We don't need to sell to advertisers. We don't need to do anything. All we need to do is get views, because we are going to get paid for those advertisements for every 1,000 views the advertisers are able to place. Quick reminder, to be able to be part of the YouTube Partner Program and start getting paid for the views from YouTube, without having to sell anything, without having to deal with clients, without having to send reports, anything like that, you just need to hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And now, if you don't have any experience with this, is that a lot? Is that little? I would say that's a fair amount. It usually takes a couple of weeks to a couple of months for my clients who have no previous experience whatsoever to reach that threshold, right? Obviously, it depends on your niche, it depends on your research, it depends on your experience, it depends on luck as well. So anywhere for a couple of weeks to a couple of months, and you are gonna be able to be part of the partner program, and you're gonna start earning an RPM, which is how much money you are gonna get paid for 1,000 views. And as I said, if we take the average RPM, which I would say it's still conservative of $5, 1,000 views is going to pay you $5, 10,000 views is going to pay you $50, 100,000 views is going to be $500, and 1,000,000 views is going to be $5,000. Now again, 1,000,000 views, you might say, Raz, like that's a lot. How am I going to get 1,000,000 views? I need to go viral, etc. You actually don't, because your views compound. You are posting one video today, next one in a couple of days, next one in a couple of days, and all those videos here, if you remember, are getting evergreen views, are getting views today, next week, next month, next year. So your job is to build a backlog. Your job is to build a library of videos that have evergreen potential, meaning are going to be relevant today, tomorrow, and for many, many months or years to come. And as long as you do that, you are start going to make, okay, a couple dollars from this video, a couple dollars from this video, $100 from this video, and all in all, accumulating this million views in a month is definitely achievable. And there are probably millions of people who have done it by now without showing their face, without creating the videos themselves, or without becoming YouTubers in any sense. And that is the beauty of this business model, that you are not relying on your face, you're not relying on recording, and that you can plant as many seeds as you want. You can post as many videos as you want in many different niches, in many different channels, and you can build these libraries simultaneously, increasing your earning power. And that's just one way Faceless YouTube channels make money. There are also multiple ways in which you can monetize even without having subscribers, such as brand deals. You can just get brands to sponsor your videos and you can charge them from $500 to $5,000, maybe even $50,000 per video. I've seen this happening with Faceless channels, so it's possible. And you can also have affiliate marketing. You don't need to wait to get monetized. You can start putting affiliate links, whether it be Amazon link, Book links, or any product links in the description of your videos. And if people are going to buy from your video, obviously that's going to convert into sales, but that's a topic for another video. Whatever you do and however you choose to monetize, my recommendation is to stay consistent and to prioritize evergreen niches that are going to allow you to make videos for a long time, get views for a long time, and not get the shiny object syndrome chasing viral spikes. Because while you might make money for a short period of time chasing something viral, chasing something shiny, if you are a busy professional and if you are working a full-time job, you don't have time to chase all of these trends. You don't have time to go back and forth from one channel to the other. Instead, consistency, patience, and constant iteration are definitely what it takes to succeed in this business model. And look, when I started my very first YouTube channel 5 years ago, it took me 107 videos to get results, 107 videos to get the first video out there, and then another couple. I think I remember I had 150 videos posted, and that's when I got 1 million views in total. So it took me quite some time to learn all of these tactics, all of these lessons, and all of these strategies. Obviously, I've learned a lot since, but today, people in my program are literally seeing success with their first couple of videos, and some of them are getting monetized in weeks, not months. So if you'd like to learn more from someone who's actually been there and done that, I would love to work together. So click the link in the description, watch the training, book a call, and I would love to see you in the next one.